Canary Wharf never slept properly. It only dimmed. Beneath the glass, service corridors stayed warm with machinery heat and cheap coffee. Security doors clicked. Cameras watched angles mapped by bored guards and ambitious opportunists. Everything felt controlled, right up until the multiverse fracture laid a second version of control on top. On the night it started, a cash handling room triggered alarms without smoke, without intrusion, without any reason that matched a checklist. A sealed tray of notes sat under a fluorescent strip. A counting machine spat an error, then displayed a total that belonged to money that did not seem to exist. The ledger updated anyway, as if numbers mattered more than paper. Crypto King stood too close when the overlap happened. The change did not arrive as lightning or prophecy. The change arrived as a sensation behind the teeth. A click of certainty that cash was a story that could be rewritten. The first conversion happened outside a late-night shop near Poplar High Street. A fist held crumpled notes, damp from rain. The paper should have stayed real. Instead, the notes went weightless, then vanished like breath in cold air. A phone screen lit with a balance change that had no bank name, no app logo, only figures settling into place with unnerving calm. The power felt clean, too clean. No shouting, no smashed glass, no obvious taking. The city ran on friction, and the power removed friction. Debt disappeared first. The kind of debt that arrived as polite letters, then red ink, then threats disguised as collections. Rent followed. Pride followed after that. A cash terminal near Canary Wharf became the next proof. The screen glowed in drizzle. A queue formed behind tired suits and night workers. Crypto King stood close enough to smell warm plastic and sanitizer. The terminal whirred. A drawer should have opened. Instead, the screen flashed an error and rebooted. Nothing came out. People cursed the bank. People refreshed apps. People filmed the frozen screen like evidence. 10 minutes later, a private balance climbed again, not in pounds in a bank account, but in a vault that felt invisible and permanent. The vault did not feel hosted in any building. The vault felt like a place the fracture allowed to exist. The first week produced headlines nobody believed. Cash terminal errors, phantom withdrawals. Banks blamed software updates. Customers blamed scams. Reports were logged and then buried under volume. The second week produced fear. Small cash businesses on the high street started hiding takings in biscuit tins and freezer bags. A barber refused card because fees hurt too much. A nail salon kept cash in a locked box under the counter, trusting metal and habit. Metal and habit stopped feeling reliable. Shortfalls began appearing in places that were supposed to be dull and predictable. Tills that came up light, cash bags that did not reconcile, sealed counts that matched a number, but not the paper. Nobody could explain how losses happened without forced doors or broken glass, and that absence of force made the stories worse. The city reacted in ways it always did. Denial first, then blame, then bureaucracy. Compliance departments tightened thresholds. Machines updated overnight. Branch managers were told to file incidents under technical irregularity. Regulators held closed-door meetings about currency-to-data anomalies. Language that sounded sterile enough to slow panic. Crypto King discovered another feature in the middle of danger. Under stress, shapes formed in the Earhart edges made of scrolling code and currency symbols, like tools built from pure abstraction. The shapes hummed with a brittle sound like a screen about to crack. Their stability rose and fell with market movement, and the market never stayed still. One night on a bus, a stranger stepped too close with the wrong intent. A shape appeared between them without warning, and the stranger flinched away from something that did not match ordinary fear. The bus carried on. Passengers stared at nothing and returned to phones, pretending the moment had been a trick of tired eyes. The first serious consequence arrived as silence. A cluster of terminals near a station failed at once, screens rebooting in sequence, cues turning into shouting. A corner shop owner could not pay a supplier the next morning. A delivery driver refused to unload without payment. A staff member was told to go home because wages could not be withdrawn and card readers kept declining. London began to feel fragile in a new way. Not a riot, not a bomb. A quiet inability to do the small things that kept everything moving. Connected problems attracted connected solutions. Cromwell applied systems appeared in meeting rooms with laminated passes and calm voices that never used the word magic. Presentations happened in rented offices near transport hubs, always close enough to leave quickly. Slides showed disruption maps, paired with other anomalies. 10-second continuity gaps in CCTV, engagement counters inside evidence systems, price irregularities that broke inflation logic. The fracture started to look like a single story, and Cromwell behaved like the publisher. The trap did not close with sirens. The trap closed with markets. A sudden swing hit crypto prices after a rumor of enforcement action. The code shapes degraded knit formation, edges turning jagged, then dissolving into useless static. The vault balance stayed high, but roots around it narrowed. Conversions stalled, transfers delayed by invisible hands. The vault that once felt permanent began to feel hungry instead. A place that could hold everything could also hold a person. Panic drove the next move. A bigger conversion, a harder push, enough to slip through the tightening net. Attention shifted toward a back-office processing suite where cash counts became numbers on screens, where the fracture's rules felt closest to the surface. The attempt began smoothly, then faltered as if the vault resisted swallowing too much at once. Alarms screamed. Lights strobed. Cameras tracked movement. Response vehicles rolled in fast. The final twist landed like an update, not a gunshot. The vault address changed, not by choice, not by mistake. The balance shifted into an unfamiliar chain, as if ownership had been redirected. For a fraction of a second, a code shape flickered into existence and revealed a brief pattern inside its scrolling symbols, a Cromwell identifier embedded like a watermark. The vault had never been prided. The vault had always been a product that could be reassigned. By morning, tabloids blamed hackers. Banks promised reimbursements. Politicians demanded resilience. In a quiet facility off a Ring Road, Cromwell filed the event as containment success, and a new ledger entry appeared under recovered asset streams. The fracture had created a taker. London had created a buyer. The buyer had learned how to claim the claim without touching a note. The vault has a new owner. See what happens next. Watch the next episode, like this video, and subscribe to find out who controls the fracture.